Good morning, I'm Akanksha Upadhyay. Let's begin with the main stories. Medical education bill proposed by government contrary to the ruling party's election manifesto. The bill favors businesses in profit accumulation. Government fails to educate the public about the laws enshrined in Civil Code as the implementation date is just around a month away. Almost a year spent in vain. At least 50 people killed in flooding and landslides in western Japan. Dozens missing. England defeats Sweden 2-0 and Croatia ends Russia's unlikely World Cup dream, winning 4-3 on penalties to secure the semi-final berth in the FIFA World Cup. Let's begin with the latest national political updates. The current government with two-thirds majority faces no challenge to implement the agenda included in the election manifesto. However, looking at the recently introduced medical education bill, the government has completely headed towards the opposite direction, forgetting the manifesto. At the time of election, the joint manifesto of the then CPN-UML and CPN-Maoist Centre had committed assurance of the public's fundamental rights in health sector. The manifesto included operation of at least 25-bed hospital in all rural municipalities, 50-bed hospitals in municipalities, and construction of well-facilitated hospitals with 1,000 beds in each province centres. Apart from these assurances, the manifesto also mentioned that the government would discourage medical education merely as a means to accumulate profit. The two parties emerged victorious in the election and unified as Nepal Communist Party. However, the government has seemingly forgotten its commitments during the elections. Moreover, it is proposed the bill is aimed at shouldering the responsibility of medical education and health services to the private sector. The demands raised by Dr. Govinda Kesi, who has been staging his 15th hunger strike, are not much different than that mentioned in the election manifesto. The new replacement bill introduced by the government, however, is completely against the manifesto and the commitments made during the elections. A society based on equality can be established if all countrymen have fair and equal access to quality health services and education. However, the government's plan to hand over this sensitive sector to private businesses is certain to fulfill the needs of only the wealthy population, rendering the poor to lag behind and suffer as always. The Medical Education Commission has turned defunct following the automatic termination of the National Education Ordinance from the 4th of July. This is going to affect the programs of the upcoming academic session of medical education across the country. The Commission was formed 8 months earlier in a bid to regulate and properly manage the medical education sector. The Commission was shouldered responsibility to operate entrance examinations conducted by universities and Nepal Medical Council, along with managing admission processes, seats and determine student fees. However, both the ordinance and the Commission have been automatically defunct due to failure to endorse the medical education replacement bill on the 4th of July by the Parliament. There is a saying that ignorance of law is not excusable to anyone. Thus, it's the responsibility of the state to duly make the public aware about all the basic legal provisions. The government has failed to inform its citizens even after 8 years since the establishment of the new Civil Code, which is the key to transform the entire legal mechanism of the country. The Civil Code that was first issued during the tenure of the then Rana regime was later reformed at the time of the Panchayati rule in the country. It is about to be a year since the Civil Code completely transformed with new provisions. The legal provisions enshrined in the Civil Code are to be made effective from the 17th of August this year. The implementation was slated for a year later than formulation, considering time to be consumed to educate justices, law professionals and the general public about the provisions. The Civil Code consists of several new provisions, including identification of many activities as crimes, which was otherwise not listed as crimes in the previous Civil Code. There has also been made a significant changes in punishments and penalties. However, the public has not still been educated regarding the laws, despite their implementation date is just around a month away. Experts are of the view that the people should be made aware about the country's laws, also to avoid seeking professional support for even trivial cases. But both the government and other stakeholders have remained indifferent towards this matter as of yet. And it's now time for the international update. Flooding and landslides have killed at least 50 people and left dozens missing in western areas of Japan. Most of the deaths have occurred in Hiroshima Prefecture, which has been hit by torrential rain since Thursday. Hundreds of homes have been damaged, around 1.5 million people have been ordered to leave their homes, and 3 million more advised to do so. Hiroshima Prefecture was the hardest hit, with 23 people reported dead so far and 21 missing. 18 were killed in Ehime Prefecture and 7 are reported missing. Some of the victims have been suspected buried alive by landslides. Thousands of police, firefighters and soldiers are taking part in search and rescue operations. The flooding and landslides are hindering rescue operations as well. More rain is expected over the next few days. Yesterday, we had asked the residents of Thading and Kapilvastu why they think has the ruling party introduced the medical education bill contrary to its own manifesto. Let us now take a look at what they had to say.
Public voice.
यो विधेयक चाहिँ सार्वजनिक कल्याणको लागि हुनुपर्नेमा व्यापारीकरण हुन आटेको जस्तो लाग्छ।
विधेयक जुन ल्याएका छन् यो कम्युनिस्ट सरकारले गर्ने विधेयक होइन।
यो बिल्कुलै गलत हो। यो सरकार पूर्वाग्रही हो, त्यसैले चाहिँ यस्तो भएको हो।
उद्देश्य चाहिँ यो व्यापारीहरूलाई बढी पोस्ने खालको जस्तो देखिन्छ।
गरिब र निमुखा जनताहरूले पाउनुपर्ने सेवा र सुविधा हो त्यो चाहिँ वञ्चित गरिएको छ।
स्वास्थ्य क्षेत्रमा माफियाको चहल पहल बढ्दै गएको अवस्था देखिन्छ।
It's now time for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
Your question: what should be done to stop the misuse of budget in the local level? Your options are A. Monitoring from the centre, B. Accountable local representatives, and C. Strict actions. The voting for the question is on. You can type any WS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinions with us. And it's now time for the sports update.
Sports news.
Croatia ended Russia's unlikely World Cup dream when they won 4-3 on penalties to eliminate the glutton hosts after a dramatic quarter-final ended 2-2 after extra time in a match played yesterday. Now, meanwhile, England entered the semi-finals of the FIFA World Cup 2018 after 28 years, defeating Sweden 2-0 in the quarter-final match played at Samara Arena. England That's all for the moment. Our next English bulletin will air at 11 a.m. Keep watching Kantipur TV HD for more news, entertainment and updates on FIFA World Cup. Have a good